guys, we're back at it. We took a week off, but we still got a couple weeks of football to talk about. This is your Gridiron Report. I'm Tone Colston, and we're going into the last weekend of the season for the Gridiron 7-on-7 League. We're in playoff weekend, championship weekend. We're going to see who takes these things home, and I have to go get some more for next season. But let's talk about Week 6, how we finished up the league, how we finished up the season. Week 6 was our last regular season weekend for stats and standings. So, we'll check that out. Our high school and our varsity divisions all played out their tiebreakers, basically. So we're clean cut down from top to bottom in our standings. Our stats, our top guys are going to be our players of the year, and we should finish that out. So JV and youth, we moved into championship weekend a little bit early last week because there's so many divisions now. It's hard to get it all done in 1 week. So our JV and youth divisions were part of the skills challenge aspect of it. Some of our JV teams didn't show up, so they played a couple games, got a few extra wins and losses, and the whole youth division did the skills challenge. So you'll see some highlights on that here in a few. I guess one thing we want to talk about, is location. Everything changes a little bit this weekend. We've been playing at Clinton and Anderson County all year. We appreciate those guys for the field space. William Blunt has been playing in the league the past couple of years, just got their new turf field down. We may be the first thing that happens on it, to be honest with you, other than maybe a couple practices or whatnot. But we're going to William Blunt High School this week for the last weekend. They've got a pretty good setup. They've got a high school field, then they got a practice field right above, and then they got another side field that we can use. So we should be able to get all 5 games going on at one time in a fairly close location. It is tournament weekend. We'll have a gate fee. I think there's 2 entrances, so at either entrance we'll have somebody at the gate. Please take care of those guys and be kind and friendly. Please and thank you. And let's go ahead and get after it. Let's talk about it. First things first, let's go ahead and get into our highlights from Week 6 and just move on from there.
The real six. I was running with the set, yeah. Running with the set, yeah. Yeah. We don't never flex, we just rep, hear me? No. What did you expect? I don't need respect, I'm the threat. Tell them I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Nappy head, no shame on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chip running through the right back where I started with it. I've been up since college with it. They hit the club, I hit religion. Jesus, I'll admit it. I just give them living rest. You just give them Insta snaps. Do we need another post? You insecure, you do the most. On my side, we revive God through the Wi-Fi. T'Challa partner never colonized, round the high fives for the top God made us dangerous. Aim to bust flame with us, every idol bring to us gangs of us trained to trust a name that's blood stained on us, Christ gained on us. I was running with the shade, yeah. Running through a chain, yeah. Real flex, we invest, hear me, yeah. This is what you get, yeah. I don't need respect, I'm the threat. Tell them I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Nappy head, no shame on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Hear me? I'm so free, I got no chains. Look at my neck, boy, no chains, no shame. Rapper, yeah, come get your opinion, it don't matter. Money or the faith, I chose a ladder. Ooh, I can see I'm trying to keep us on the outside now. We pull up and watch you scatter. Running through the wall. Heaven got a playlist. I promise that's my favorite placement. Faithful over famous. Yeah, faithful over famous. New rappers that sure to blow, really drug addicts with a studio. You gotta pop pills on the usual, then that paradise ain't really cool to yo. If your world is really that flame, then why you always high trying to escape? Grand flexing, that's too fake. And them money phones, really money loans, and that real life is you coming home. Empty house and the hardest done. Bad chick, super savage, cause for a bigger bag, she moving on. Oh yeah, you making moves, but these folks don't really love you. Industry only love dudes that they can use, don't get confused. Interviews that don't tiptoe, go and take them my info. His glory, that's simple. Riding around with that tempo. That's liberal, that's conservative, that's charismatic and reformed too. My wife happy and Jesus love me, ain't nothing left to conform to. No chains on me. I was running with the set, running with the set, we don't never flex, we just rep, hear me? No, what did you expect? I don't need respect, I'm the threat. Tell them I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Nappy hair, no shame on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm the threat. Tell them I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Nappy hair, no shame on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I don't need respect, I'm the threat. Tell them I'm so free, I got no chains on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Nappy hair, no shame on me. I'm so free, I got no chains on me. Get up!
All right, so that's another great clip of highlights for week 6. Chris Reddick does a great job coming down here from the Tri-Cities area each and every week. Hope you guys enjoyed them. I'll post all of our highlights from each and every week separately, so you guys can make your own little creative highlights or whatnot. After this thing's done or whatnot. But before we get to our final stats and standings, let's go ahead and talk about the teams of the week, the guys that had the biggest weeks from week 6. We had a handful of high school teams that had big weekends. Clinton High School finished 3-0. They're on a 4-game win streak from week 5 and week 6. It really just depends on which group shows up. They've been kind of inconsistent on the quarterback. They've got a couple different quarterbacks. Josh Keith was the quarterback. They were the defending champions from last year's 7-on-7 league. So, Josh Keith just graduated. They've got 2 or 3 different guys playing quarterback right now, back and forth. So, we'll kind of see how it goes and go from there. But the Orange Crush finished 2-1. Another big weekend for those guys. Asheville Extreme finished 3-0. Loudon was 2-1, and the Cyclones finished 3-0. The Cyclones are on a 7-game win streak right now. Them and Asheville Extreme are set up. I'm curious to see if they both can work their way through the bracket and they see each other in the championship. They played a couple weeks ago, and it was a super high energy game, and it was fun to watch. They played with a lot of respect with each other, but they were getting after it. So that was a lot of fun. But those are the teams that had the best weeks for the high school division. So let's go ahead and move into it. Let's look at the stats and standings. We're going to go into the standings first and see how everything ranked out, and then we'll take a look at all the league leaders. So after the week 6 games, the standings for the Gunslinger and the Gridiron division, pretty clean. Like I said earlier, we got all the tiebreakers out of the way. So we've got two teams, Asheville Extreme, UC Cyclones. Those two teams are going to take the number one seeds in the bracket for the playoffs this upcoming weekend. The Orange Crush worked their way up and held on. They're number two in the Gunslinger division at 7-8. Clinton got them a couple more wins, moved up to 5-5 at third. Truth's 5-10. Kingston 4-9. Seymour 3-12. So should have some good matchups there. Look forward to seeing a couple teams win. Really curious to see which Clinton team's going to show up. Curious to see how it works. Let's see, in the Gridiron division, you got the Cyclones sitting at 1, Cherokee sitting at 2, Loudon sitting at 3, 13-4, 11-6, 8-6. That's going to be I'm curious to see who's going to win. The Cyclones have been on a roll. Loudon didn't have their, missed some players a couple weeks ago when they played. The Cherokees are kind of, one of those teams that can win it, against anybody, so I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. 407, sitting at 5-10 has improved in the past couple weeks. And then you got the Immortals. They missed last week. So curious to see how they come out with their full team ready to go for the playoffs. So, come to the standings. We've got everything set up. We'll show the playoff bracket again here later. But looking forward to a big weekend, exciting weekend. We're going to get into the skills challenge also. So looking forward to seeing, the one-on-one matchups with some of these guys and see who does the best on that stuff. So let's go ahead and get into the stats, league leaders. We finished the season. So this will be the final league leaders report, I guess. So we'll kind of know who the players of the year are and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and move on into the stats. So we had a pretty good race this season, with the quarterback guys. Caden Ingle has been sitting on top the whole season, 48 touchdowns. Noah Potter put a good run together and hit over 40, got 44 touchdowns. You got Brinson Brang at 36, Jackson Dabrowski at 30, J.J. Reynolds at 30. Five quarterbacks over 30 touchdowns this year. Some of those guys didn't play every week, with spring break and different things. Teams missed a week here and there. So, we got Braden Rivers at Kingston, with 25 touchdowns. Bronson Scrivener from Loudon with 21. And then we got, Metcalf with 12, Eldridge with 12, Elijah Phillips with 12 from 407 and Truth. Jalen Benjamin came in that one weekend with Goon Squad, and had 7, and Mason Phillips with 407 with 7 touchdowns. So, the quarterbacks had big years. The pressure package changed things a little bit, but guys kept throwing touchdowns, kept moving around, and kept leading their teams to victory. So, we got the top 1, 2, 3 teams, top 3 quarterbacks. The top quarterbacks in this type of thing and 7-on-7 always make the teams work. So let's go ahead and move to the receivers and see who led the league. So when it comes to our go-getters, in the high school division, our number 4 quarterback, we were talking about, the top 3 guys, number 4 guy, Jackson Dabrowski, he had one of the best receivers in the league, Aiden Telfer. So Aiden is going to finish with 17 touchdowns. Leading the league. I think he caught 4 or 5 in the past couple weeks each week. Was just consistently getting in the end zone. We got the Lawson Reynolds with Asheville Extreme at 14. We got Maddox Aquendo with 13 from the Cyclones. Trey Miller, from Truth. They may not have won as many games, but, Trey made some big plays all season with 12 touchdowns. Trey Lane with 12 touchdowns. Hunter Cromer with Extreme, 11 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith with 10. Then we got a handful of other guys, knocking it down from 9 all the way to 5. We had 6 players tied with 5. So a lot of guys scored touchdowns this year. That's one of the most exciting parts. The big deal for us is just getting reps, getting better, having fun, and, just guaranteeing that, we're going to do it how we say we're going to do it. So, let's go ahead and take a look at our defensive leaders, see who the Ball Hawks were. I think we had a pretty close race, so let's go ahead and move on to it. So defensively, pretty big year. Nobody really dominated, but, we saw the stats, from the last Gridiron report where we showed, the leaders overall over the past 5 or 6 years. So, I don't know if it means our quarterbacks are just getting better as we go at the 7-on-7 game, or maybe the defenders just are getting worse. Who knows? But we just didn't have anybody to stand out and separate themselves. But we did have some guys that made some plays. And actually a really tight race here between 7, 8, 9 guys. So, but number one, Asheville Extreme, Brandon Phelan, 5 interceptions on the season. Big year for him. Helped lead them to the number one seed as one of our number one teams in the league on both divisions, probably. So let's go on down. We got Kingston, Hayden Hurley. Hurley just had one huge week, and then hadn't really seen his name much pop up in the stats. But hey, that's all it takes. So he's 4 interceptions in, puts him at second place on the year. Then we got Deontay Stevens, Dylan Phillips, Major Crumpton, Gavin Johnson, Lawson Reynolds, Xavier Deals, all tied with 3 interceptions. We had 8 players tied with 2, and then we had 36 players tied with 1. So ton of interceptions, but Brandon Phelan sitting on top for our Ball Hawks of the year. We'll talk just a little bit more on that. Let's go ahead and move into our players of the week. Then we'll talk about our players of the year, and then we'll move on into our varsity division. All right, so we're here with players of the week, week 6, last week of the season, high school division. The Gunslingers put up big weekends. We had 3 guys, huge numbers, 8 touchdowns each, all tied up. So it was Engel, Potter, Dabrowski, 8 touchdowns. Dabrowski went 2-1. Potter went 3-0. Engel went 3-0. I think Asheville Extreme played the Crush, beat the Crush, but Potter and Engel didn't play each other. So, both of them going 3-0. Both of them have won Player of the Week each one time this year, or maybe 2 times this year. So we're going to go basically co-players of the week. Caden Engel, Noah Potter. Great way to finish the season. I think, the way the numbers look, they should end up in the championship together and see, unless somebody else can step up and stop it from happening. But that's how we're going to go. So we're going to go co-players of the week for the Gunslinger of the week for the high school division. So let's move on into the receiver, go-getter of the week. We really had one guy that balled out. Orange Crushes, Aiden Telfer, 4 touchdowns. Go-getter of the week. He's sitting on top of the list when it comes to the stats and standings. Finished, one of the top guys of the year. So a big year. Let's finish it off. Player of the week, Aiden Telfer. We got one guy on defense for Ball Hawk of the week. Big weekend for him. Lawson Reynolds, 3 interceptions. Asheville Extreme, Ball Hawk of the week. So congratulations, players of the week. All right, so for our players of the year for the high school division, we've got 3 guys that sat on top of the league pretty much the whole season on some of the best teams, and have made a ton of great highlights over the years. So we're going to go Gunslinger of the year. We're going to go Asheville Extreme, Caden Engel, 48 touchdowns on the season. Puts him up there as one of the top, I think it was top 5 quarterbacks, statistically to come through the league over the years. So congratulations, quarterback Gunslinger of the year, Asheville Extreme, Caden Engel. When we go to go-getter of the year, we got a guy, we just talked about him, Aiden Telfer from the Orange Crush, 17 touchdowns. You'll see this, you saw that in the stats just a few minutes ago. Led the league, had a huge weekend this past week with another 4 touchdowns. So Aiden Telfer, go-getter of the year for the high school divisions. Congratulations. Defensively, we've got one guy sat on top of the defensive standings. Had a couple really big weeks in the past few weeks. Got some Player of the Week awards. Brandon Phelan from Asheville Extreme is going to be our Ball Hawk of the year for the high school division. So congratulations, guys, on those awards. I got something I'm going to try to work out for you. So just congratulations. You played great this year. Led your teams to fun seasons. We still got the playoffs, though, so let's finish this thing off strong. And let's go ahead and move into our varsity division and see how everything shook out in week 6. All right, so we're in the varsity division. Let's talk about the top teams of the week from week 6. We had 2 teams that really stood out. The first team is Marble City. They've had a great year, finished on top. They're 3-0 this past weekend. Kind of continue doing what they do. They just keep winning. So I'm curious to see if anybody can keep up with them in the playoff. But Marble City, good job this past week. we got another team. Actually, Marble City's on a 6-game win streak also. So see if they can improve that, take it to 8 or 9 games, and win the championship. But we got one more team that had a really big weekend. A little bit surprising, but glad it happened. Seymour, 3-0. Brody Faree, quarterback for that team, came out, had a big weekend. I saw a bunch of highlights with them. So congratulations, Seymour. What a way to finish your season. 3 wins on the last week of the season. So hopefully that carries into the playoffs and you guys can make a run. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into the standings and the stats, players of the week, players of the year, and all that good stuff with the varsity division. All right, so moving on into the varsity division, the standings for the season are finished. We've got the 3 teams that kind of battled it out. A couple weeks ago we were talking about, we almost had a tie. We let Marble City and the Underdogs go ahead and play up in a division. The Orange Crush copped a couple good wins, moved themselves up there. And then the past week, Marble City and the Underdogs and the Crush kind of battled it out. And, the standings, a couple guys were saying that they shouldn't have been tied a couple weeks ago, but, wins are going to play itself out. And that's kind of the way I do it. So it's played itself out. We got one team on top, Marble City, 11-2, Underdogs, 10-5. The Underdogs are looking to get back-to-back championships. I think it's this division. They may have been in the JV division last year. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe they won the championship last year. So looking to see how that works out. Marble City, their first year in the program. We're always got a West team in the program, but this is their first year that they're kind of running it with that group of people. But we got Orange Crush. Had another big season at 8-8. Goon Squad at 6-2. Seymour at 6-6, Carter Swarm at 5-10, Primetime at 5-10, and Blood Diamonds at 4-9. The bracket will be set here soon. I think we're going to have some good playoff matchups, though. I think, some of the teams that don't really have many wins right now caught most of their wins in the last week or two. And, that just shows they're kind of figuring it out. So, curious to see how it works out. Curious to see how these teams play each other. See if they make any adjustments. Everybody's played each other a couple times. They know who the guys are, who they got to stop. And, most teams honestly only have a couple plays they really run consistently. So, good luck in the playoffs. Let's go ahead and move in and see who our league leaders were. And we're going to start with the Gunslingers. So in the varsity division, we had 4 guys get over 20 touchdowns. We had 2 guys sitting at the top that were in a pretty good battle all year long. We got 1 guy over 30. The Underdogs, Tyler Sigmund, another big year. Had a great year last year playing in the Gridiron League, but finished 31 touchdowns, first place in the varsity division. You got Marble City's Ian Crook with 29 touchdowns. Orange Crush Fisher Newman with 24 touchdowns, sitting at third. Holland Dixon from Carter got 23 touchdowns. You got Goon Squad's Kyle Clark with 18. Primetime, we got 2 guys, Kel Fleming with 12 and Ben Hamilton with 8. The Blood Diamonds have Namir Jackson with 7. The other name on there, the Maurice Smith, it should be Dre Adair. Dre Adair had 7 touchdowns. He actually had 5 or 6 touchdowns 2 weeks ago in our last week of the I think it was 2 weeks ago, week 5. We got the names mixed up. This is why it's big to get the rosters down, and sometimes numbers change here and there. But Dre Adair was the Gunslinger of the week for I think week 5. Sorry about that, but just tried to get it fixed on the Gridiron Report. But good group of quarterbacks. Had some fun with it. Look forward to this weekend. I think it's going to be a big one. Let's move on into the receivers and see who caught the most touchdowns. So we made a good push, or not we, I guess the boys, made a good push this past week. Some of the top players in the league, top receivers in the league caught a ton of touchdowns, but, one guy was able to hold them off. Sitting on top of the list, you got Gavin Robinson from the Underdogs. Like I said, he's been a guy that's had a couple great seasons in the Gridiron League. He was Gunslinger of the Year one year. Had a big year last year playing some receiver, back at it this year as the top receiver in the league. So, Gavin Robinson, 11 touchdowns, sitting at first place. And then we've got a tie with 4 other guys sitting at second place. We got Silas Monroe with Marble City, Joe Hollenkamp with the Underdogs, another Marble City guy, Judson Stanley, and Carter Swarms, Devontae Scruggs, all tied at second place with 8 touchdowns. Will Elder with 7, a couple guys with 6, Jason Bourne, DK Towns. We got the Goon Squad. had two guys. I had to find those numbers, but we got Goon Squad's number 3, which is DeBrian Owens, with 5. We got Goon Squad's number 1, Austin Phillips, with 4, tied with Jace Boyd, JP Peace, Will Rose, and Peyton Hawkins. There's 10 players tied with 3 touchdowns, 8 tied with 2, 31 players tied with 1. So when you add that up, that's nearly, a little over 50 players catching touchdowns, having some fun with it, almost 60, I guess, if you add the other top guys that we already talked about. But, that's pretty big in the 15U division. Those 8th and 9th grade guys getting after it, being able to get out, throw the ball around, have some fun with it, a big list of names. So, glad we were able to spread it out. Glad guys, multiple guys were able to have some fun with it. Now we get to the defensive guys and defensive backs. Quite a few guys on the stats for that. Not a high number, but a competitive one. So let's go ahead and move into it and check it out. So when it comes to our defensive statistics, we've got one guy sitting on top, Will Rose, Carter Swarm, had a couple interceptions this past week to get him on top of that. So we got Will Rose sitting at first with 4 interceptions. We've got the Blood Diamonds. We got a handful of guys tied at second with 3, but we got the Blood Diamonds, Marcus McCord Jr. We got Orange Crush, Jaden DeHart, the Underdogs, Gavin Robinson, Marble City's Judson Stanley, and the Underdogs, Davis Krim, and also the Underdogs, Grant O'Quinn. All 3 of these guys, all 5, 6 of those guys had 3 interceptions. Kept the race close, all year long. We had 10 other guys, tied at 2 interceptions, 28 guys tied at 1. So, a little over 40 guys got interceptions throughout the season. As a quarterback guy, I prefer that to be a little bit less, but, for the experience of the program, the league, and all the teams and players, reps are reps, and somebody's got to make plays on defense. So, I also saw a bunch of guys getting hands on the ball, making good breaks on the balls, and, just being in position. That's a big thing. In 7-on-7, there's some plays where you get a chance to really knock the ball out and cause incompletions. In the big field game, the full pads, but in 7-on-7, you just got to kind of tag guys out. So, looking forward to seeing these guys. This group, 15U, 8th and 9th grade group. This group, as we went through the years, a lot of these guys, I'm sure, quarterbacks, receivers, and DBs. We're going to hear these guys' names come along quite a bit at their high schools. And hopefully, throughout the next few years with the Gridiron League, but, really just in seeing some guys become starters at the high school level, see them become, all-state guys, and then watch them go to college. That's always a fun part of, having these younger age groups, because we can do that. We get to see them early, watch them compete, watch them play, and, then watch them go to high school. And then some guys that didn't even make this list on any of these stats are going to be the guys that are the ballers. Some guys grow a little bit later. Some guys get into things, get into football a little bit later, get noticed a little bit later, and, can become a guy. So, great job this year on the varsity division. Looking forward to the playoff. Let's go ahead and move in. Let's talk about the players of the week from week 6 and the players of the year for the season. All right, we're at the varsity players of the week. A couple guys tied, a couple guys been consistent, names always on the list. Let's go ahead and take a look. We got Gunslingers of the week. We got 2 guys. We got Holland Dixon, Tyler Sigmund, both tied at 6 touchdowns for Gunslinger of the week. Dixon went 1-2, Sigmund went 3-0. So we got to take it with the numbers. We got to go Tyler Sigmund, Gunslinger of the week 6. Congratulations. When it comes to our receivers, our go-getter of the week, same deal. We got 2 guys tied. 3 touchdowns each. We got Gavin Robinson, and then we got Devontae Scruggs from Carter. Same deal, 1-2 with Carter, 3-0 with the Underdogs. So we're going to go Gavin Robinson, 3 touchdowns, Gunslinger of the week, or go-getter of the week. I apologize. When it comes to defensive back of the week, ball hawk of the week, we only had one guy that led the league that stood out. We had one guy, 3 interceptions, Grant O'Quinn, Underdogs. So we got a trifecta with the Underdogs on players of the week. Congratulations to those guys. Week 6 players of the week. Let's go ahead and take a look and talk about the players of the year, varsity division. All right, guys. So players of the year, varsity division. We've got couple guys that just led the league. There were no ties. We got guys sitting at the top, sat at the top most of the season, put a couple big weekends up these past couple weeks, and still standing there. So we've got Gunslinger of the Year, the underdogs, Tyler Sigmund, 31 touchdowns, leads the varsity division. Congratulations, Tyler Sigmund, Gunslinger of the Year. When it comes to our receiver, our ball hawk, or our go-getter of the year, we've got his teammate, top guy in the receiver division. We got Gavin Robinson. We got 11 touchdowns, led the league by 3. We had a tie with 4 other guys at 8, but Gavin sat on top of that, the league leaders pretty much all season long. So Gavin Robinson, go-getter of the year, varsity division. Congratulations. We're moving on over. Let's go defensive back of the year. I know, Carter, you feel like you got snubbed for week 6 players of the week, but congratulations. We got Will Rose, 4 interceptions. Carter Swarm, congratulations, ball hawk of the year. So congratulations to all the players of the year in the varsity division. Let's move into the JV division and see what it looks like from top to bottom. All right, so in our JV division, we had a couple teams show up for the weekend, 3 teams actually. So we only had one team actually win. They played a little round robin. So prime time, top team of the day, 2-0. They've continued to dominate the division. I think they're on a 10-game win streak. I'm curious to see if anybody can stick with them in the playoff, but we'll see. You got to play it out. A couple interceptions here, stop there. You never know. But Team Primetime had a great showing this year so far, number 1 in the JV division. And just so people know, we talk about this all the time. Primetime used to be, I guess the last 2 seasons was the Chiefs. And if you go into our standings and all that stuff, they've been pretty much dead last the last 2 years. The first year they played, they were kind of young for the division. 5th graders in the 6th and 7th grade division, took a bunch of L's, finished last place. Last year was 6th graders in the 6th, 7th grade division, took a bunch of L's. I think they were last place. They won a couple games. So this year, 3 years into it, working from the bottom to the top in that JV division, first place. So, congratulations on just sticking with it. Because, I'll be honest, a lot of teams, a lot of people, when they don't win and they don't have fun, I won't say don't have fun, but when they don't win, they don't want to do it anymore. And I see that all the time where they want to go create their own league, do whatever they do. But, congratulations and much respect to the Chief or to Primetime, their team, coaches, same people pretty much running the group. So congratulations, just having a big season. It's not over. Still got a championship to win if you can. But, just on pushing through, having fun, and using the Gridiron League for what it really is. And that's just an opportunity to get better, to improve your players, and just to have fun. So let's go ahead and look at the final stats and standings for the JV division and go from there. So week 6 for the JV division was supposed to be the skills challenge, but a couple teams didn't show up, so we went ahead and got some games in. So it changed maybe didn't change the standings, but added a few wins and a few losses to a couple of the teams. But we've got them from top to bottom right now. We've got Team Primetime sitting first place, 10-2. Goon Squad 8-6, second place. Immortals 6-0, undefeated. Curious to see. The only losses they've had all year was in the playoff, in the midseason playoff tournament. So curious to see, how they come out, how they compete this upcoming week. We got Team Mayhem at 4-9, Code Blue at 4-9, and our Wolfpack team out of Chattanooga at 3-6. So standings pretty clear cut, top to bottom. Curious to see how it works out this time around. Is it going to be prime time and the Immortals playing for the championship, playing 2 games in the double elimination tournament to see who wins, or, is the Goon Squad or either Mayhem, Code Blue, or Wolfpack going to make some plays and, make some upsets. So curious to see how it works. Let's move on into our quarterbacks and our league leaders and see who the guys are that held on for the players of the year. So for our gunslingers, we had one guy really that sat on top all season long, top team in the league, top quarterback in the league. Kel Fleming with Team Primetime, 27 touchdowns. Code Blues, Jackson Byington came in and had a pretty good season. They didn't win as many games, but still threw 18 touchdowns, had a big year. Cade Johnson, I think if they'd have got some more games in and been here for a few more weeks, him and Kel would have had to, been battling it out a little bit. But, Cade Johnson finished with 15 touchdowns. And Team Mayhem had a couple guys, that are pretty good little quarterbacks throwing the ball. You had Austin Miller with 12 touchdowns and Landry Bounds with 7. So, moving on in, let's take it to our receivers. So the past few weeks has really brought a pretty close, tight race. I guess you could say it's all tied up, man. We got the top 4 receivers sitting at 6 touchdowns for the season. Not big statistics, but 6 touchdowns is what it is. Teams are spread out pretty good. Team Mayhem, Braxton Swift with 6 touchdowns. You got Primetime's got 3 guys: Brandon Fears, Hudson Beats, and Javion Stinson at 6 touchdowns. Code Blues got Riley Miller with 5. Mayhem's got another guy, Lane Stanifer, with 4. Code Blues, Skylar Whitson also has 4. 6 more guys were tied with 3. 9 guys tied at 2. 5 players tied at 1. Gives us 14, 20, 26 so players that caught touchdowns in this JV division. So we'll see who gets Player of the Year, but we do have a tie at first place, and a bunch of other guys caught some touchdowns. So let's go ahead and keep it moving. Let's get on into the defensive statistics and see who the top go-getter or top ball hawk of the year is for this JV division. So we've got, in our ball hawks, we've got one guy that kind of took the lead, got a couple interceptions this past week, moving him into first place. We got Primetime's Brandon Fears, 7 interceptions, first place. We got Code Blues, Riley Miller. He was on top of the list for pretty much the whole year until this past week. They didn't play. Brandon Fears got some interceptions, so left Riley with 5 at second place. We got Hudson Beats, another Primetime guy, sitting with 4 interceptions. A handful of guys tied at third. Zane Varney, Lane Stanifer, Javion Stinson, and Nash Pope all tied with 3. 7 other players tied with 1. 0 players with 2. So good little mix of players there. So, Brandon Fears sitting on top of that one. Let's go ahead and talk about and get into the players of the week and the players of the year for our JV division. All right, so players of the week for the JV division, Primetime, 2-0. About to go 3-0 on the Players of the Week deal. So, Kel Fleming, 5 touchdowns. Gunslinger of the Week. Judson Beats, 3 touchdowns. Go-Getter of the Week. Brandon Fears, 2 interceptions. Ball Hawk of the Week. Congratulations, JV Players of the Week for Week 6. All right, so we're here at Players of the Year for the JV division. Gunslinger of the Year, we got one guy that really stood out all season long. Kel Fleming, Primetime. 27 touchdowns, led the league. Congratulations, big season. Good luck in the playoffs. Gunslinger of the Year, JV division, Kel Fleming with 27 touchdowns. When we go to our Go-Getter of the Year, this is probably the first time we've had this many tied at first place in any division. But we're going to take a look at it. We have 3 guys tied. We had Braxton Swift, Brandon Fears, and Hudson Beats tied at 6 touchdowns each. We're going to go with 2 guys, co-players of the year. We're going to go with Mayhem's Brandon Swift, and we're going to go with Primetime's Hudson Beats at 6 touchdowns, co-players of the year, that's a tough one, go-getters of the year. For the JV division, we got Braxton Swift and Hudson Beats. Congratulations, you guys. All right, so we've got one guy left. We got Defensive Player of the Year. We got our Ball Hawk of the Year, and that's going to go to Primetime's Brandon Fears, 7 interceptions, led the league. Big year. He's tied in the Go-Getter of the Year division, but he's going to get the Ball Hawk of the Year, and the other guys are going to get the Go-Getter of the Year. So congratulations, Brandon Fears, Ball Hawk of the Year from Team Primetime, 7 interceptions. Congratulations all the players from the JV division. You made it fun this year. It's pretty exciting. Let's go ahead and take a look at probably the most exciting division, and that's going to be our youth division. They had a little different weekend, so you're going to take a look at their bracket, their skills challenge highlights, who won, and then we'll go from there. So with no changes from last week, we've got the Vipers on top. You got Goon Squad 1, the Raptors, Goon Squad 2, Ball Hawks, Code Blue, and the Thunder Wolves. We move on into our quarterbacks. Tucker Garner finished up the season with 27 touchdowns, sitting at first place. Our receiving leaders, our go-getters of the year, we got 2 guys sitting at tied. We got Christian Frazier and Christian Neal tied at 8 touchdowns. On defense, we've got Jace Hawkins with 6 touchdowns, who led the way for Ball Hawks. The next thing we're going to look at real quick, we're going to work into our bracket from our skills challenge for the youth division. Then we're going to move into our highlights. So let's go ahead and take a look at our skills challenge bracket. So our skills challenge was actually really exciting. One-on-ones, 4th and 5th graders, probably the first time, other than the few kids that have done any type of training, they've actually been in that situation. It showed a little, but it also showed some of the kids that actually know how to run routes at that age. So, we didn't put the scores in, just getting round this out and get it through. Vipers and Thunderwolves. After we did a little pool play, Goon Squad 1 ended up first place. Ball Hawks 2nd place. Code Blue 3rd place. Vipers 4th place. Thunderwolves 5th place. Goon Squad 2 6th, and the Raptors at 7th. So our first game, we had the Raptors and the Vipers and the Thunderwolves. The Vipers beat the Thunderwolves to move into that second round. Code Blue got beat by Goon Squad 2. The Ball Hawks beat the Raptors. Then we had Goon Squad 1 beat the Vipers in the semifinal. Then we got Ball Hawks beating Goon Squad 2 in the semifinal. And then Goon Squad 1 ended up as our Skills Challenge champions for 2024. Really close matchup. Threw a touchdown at the very end on the last rep, and you'll see that in the highlights. So let's go ahead and check out the highlights and see who won our fastest man and our long ball competition also. So let's go ahead and get to it. It's time! so pretty exciting weekend for the youth division. So what we're going to finish on, there's no players of the week, but we do need to do players of the year for our youth division. When it comes to gunslinger of the year, the Vipers, Tucker Garner, dominated the season, had a big season, 27 touchdowns. Great year, set a high mark for next year's youth division quarterbacks to come in and compete. So congratulations, Vipers, Tucker Garner, gunslinger of the year for our youth division. When it comes to our go-getter of the year in the youth division, we got a two-way tie again. You know, we got another tie. One guy that sat at the top of the list pretty much all season long, and then we got another guy that each and every week for the past 2 or 3 weeks just adding 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and moving his way to the top. So we're going to go co-players of the year for go-getter of the year. We've got the Vipers, Christian Frazier, and then we've got Goon Squad 1's Christian Neal. So congratulations to those guys, go-getter of the year for the youth division. Great job to you guys, man. 8 touchdowns, led the league, tied up. So let's talk about our secondary player, our ball hawk of the year for our youth division. Goon Squad 1, Jace Hawkins, 6 interceptions, doubled up everybody else that was in the league that we got the stats for. So congratulations, ball hawk of the year, youth division, Goon Squad 1, Jace Hawkins. So got everything done. Week 6 is over. We're going into the last week of the season with the playoffs. Don't forget, we're at William Blount High School. Games will start at 12 p.m. Don't miss the skills challenge part of it if you're one of the high school teams. Get there on time. Make this thing work. Make it fun. Let's have a good time. And let's finish this thing off with a bang. So see you guys next week.